Alderman Dowd?
Present.
Alderman Wiltshire is not here. Alderman Timmons is not here. Alderman Sullivan?
Here.
Alderman Lopez is not here. Ms. Raymond?
Here.
Ms. Bishop is here. Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Ms. Daniels-Williams is not here. And Ms. Prin?
Here.
Board of Ed wins tonight.
Yeah, and Sean, you gotta tell them to change the name on the committee members. It was, and if the clerk wouldn't lead us in the prayer, and Alderman Sullivan, if you'd lead us.
Almighty God, we have the high honor and serious duty to manage the educational affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with a spirit of unity and understanding, which enables us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will always be for the betterment and greater happiness of all of our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen.
Okay, starting again. So I put in two pieces of legislation after working with legal and with finance at City Hall. And one piece of legislation is of the $10 million bond, where they only bonded $6 million, there were $4 million left, we're giving the $4 million back. So that's gonna be combined with some other bonds that they're giving money back on, so it'll be more than just the $4 million. But the $4 million is from the middle school project. The balance in the middle school project, which is over $2 million, is going to be transferred to the security vestibule project, because we're going to need money for new SERLs. They want to do that, otherwise there was going to be several pieces of legislation, and what they want to do is wait till the end of the next summer when the security vestibule is done, and we'll have well over $1 million left in that account to give back, or I think they'll use it to pay down other bonds. And at that point in time, we'll have money coming back from Maine, Dunstable, and Birch Hill. So they're gonna combine them all into one piece of legislation at that time. Otherwise, they would have been writing 3 or 4 or 5 different pieces of legislation, and both finance and legal didn't think that made sense, so. All right. So, remarks by school administration, Sean?
Yes, superintendent gave his regrets he could not attend tonight. I handed out the proposed construction plaque that'll go in both Birch Hill and Maine Dunstable. So take a look at that, make sure your name is spelled correct. I believe they're all correct. If some of you may prefer to put your middle initial in there, that's fine too. Just let me know, by the end of the meeting what you want to do, and then Brendan can then do the final plaques. Same plaque will be for Maine Dunstable, except that the principal will obviously change.
Any question? Yes, Ms. Raymond?
Thank you. When will the plaques go up? I think in the spring, in the fall?
In the fall, probably. Usually we'll do not a groundbreaking, but an opening for the school.
Yeah.
And that's when they'll be unveiled.
Because we just hired a new assistant superintendent for elementary on Monday night, and so I'm wondering if her name, because she will have been working for us at that point for several months, if whether or not her name needs to go on here as well.
Her name should be on it.
Should we keep the other name on there?
Yeah, well, I think there's something, I think we keep historically all the people, right?
Yep. Okay.
As long as they were involved in the project from day one.
Yeah, so But I think Dr. Scarpetti, I don't know when she's starting, but it will be before the summer.
Yes.
So she will have been on for several months by the time the plaques go up.
Okay. All right.
And I don't know how to spell her name. I'll have to ask Dr. Andre.
So any feedback, please give it to Sean. Is that it, Sean?
That's all I have.
Okay, items for discussion. The architect's report, we really don't have any updates at this point from Harriman on the architect issues. So we'll go right into the construction manager's report. Okay, Brendan?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Brendan Orell, Project Manager, Harvey Construction. Few quick updates on the exciting new finishes in the gymnasiums at Birch Hill and Maine Dunstable. So I put together some before and afters. So this is what the gym looked like before. There were clouds up on the ceiling, suspended at the bottom of the steel, the old unadjustable hoops, the old floor with hundreds of coats of finish on it, the paint, so on and so forth. And this is what it looks like about a week ago. And this was this morning.
The hoops are up.
The hoops are up, the pads are in. So this gym here was at a state of completion when we did our final inspections for this school. So they actually signed off on this space. The floor was well in progress. The building department gave us the go-ahead. So this space will be turned over on Friday of this week.
Are the new lights too?
Those are new
New LED
lights.
lights? Yeah.
New lights, and one of the major features, thanks for pointing that out, Rick, is if you see up above, there's now new air distribution that was done by the folks from EEI. And there is a new air handler that sits above this space. So this space used to have a very limited amount of fresh air delivered to it. Actually, when we removed the unit, there was a bee's nest in it that was bigger than any bee's nest I've ever seen.
Huge.
Humongous. So the amount of fresh air that's now being introduced into the space in comparison to previous is, it's great. I mean, it's really quiet in there. Then we did acoustic panels on the ceiling and then acoustic panels all around the perimeter of the room, very similar to what we've done in other schools. The only difference here was that, like at McCarthy, Pennachuck, there was acoustical decking. And so here, Harriman had advised to add acoustical panels to accommodate for the fact that there wasn't acoustical decking. So we're excited to see the kids use the space when they return after February break.
Much more quiet elementary school. Actually, the Biddy basketball will be using it after the end of February.
In the logos, we worked directly with Tanya and Harriman, actually. The color for Birch Hill was green, but Tanya really wanted to introduce some blue. So we worked with her to put a combination of blue and green, and we got her a new file for her email signature and everything, so she uses that now. And move on to Maine Dunstable. So this was Maine Dunstable before. The floor was very, very dark. You know, all the same features as what was over at the other place. Very similar look. And this is what it looks like now. So currently the basketball hoops are being installed. So that's the final piece at Maine Dunstable, same company at both schools. But this space will be turned over also after February break. So following February break, they will have the gyms back, and that'll be the full school back to the occupants. And then we move outside to start pulling the portable trailers at one of the schools and
Not for a couple of months.
start doing what we can during the cold weather.
Any questions? No? That's great. Yeah, okay. So PCOs, you have one, right?
I do have one item, yes.
Did you want to, before we do the PCO, did you want to address that the work on the elevator is going to commence next week?
That is exactly what I was going to start with. So this PCO here is as presented previously, and I actually referenced it here. There were two PCOs that were previously presented and approved, and those released the transformer itself, the piece of equipment, and then released the elevator itself, all the pieces and parts. And we did that a while ago to make sure that we could get those pieces ahead of this year. And in the meantime, we had Harriman work on a design, and Sean assisted with that. And Harriman was able to pull together the design, which is what is represented in this PCO. So as Rick stated, many of the pieces and parts for the elevator have now arrived. And the final pieces will be in by the end of March. So with that stated, it can get very busy over the summer with all of the projects that go on throughout the state. And so we wanted to take advantage of the downtime. We worked directly with Mario and Amanda and Patty as well, and we were able to kind of review a plan, and we're going to get moving on this work on Monday. So we will do the heavy demolition while the kids are out, get that out of the way, and then slowly build the elevator and get it in and be in a state of completion by the time they leave school. So during the summer, we can do final inspections and wrap it all up.
And there'll be temporary walls so the students don't go in the work area.
That is correct. In one area, it works out really nicely. We can close a door, close off part of the staircase, and the kids will be able to just go all around. There's a bunch of access. And then it'll just prevent them from going up on this one portion of the stairs. Very similar to when we did the renovations and we had areas blocked off. So Amanda was very comfortable with it. And to Rick's point, we're going to put up a temporary wall in one spot as well and just give an isolated zone for them to work in. But we were able to get the permits pulled and get everybody engaged since they were already under contract to get going for the work next week.
Any questions on that? Alderman Sullivan?
Thank you. On the Liberty Electric portion,
Yes.
it's the first page, and there's a couple of red lines through the temporary power. Can you explain why they redline that?
Yes, it is actually, so I redline that. And the reason being is, so we had them price out an option to provide us temporary power. And I felt that the costs were a little too expensive. So I worked with Mr. Smith and his team, and they actually have a generator that's available to power the space. And they are going to work with us to provide the fuel. So Mr. Smith and Mr. Connors were able to work directly with me to do that, to avoid having to spend that additional cost. And actually, on that point, John, there is one other item that was in here, which is shown as an allowance from Liberty Electric. And that item there, so there is some work that we may have to do, whether or not the utility company, Eversource, they've indicated they want to replace the power pole that we have to come off of. So in the event that they do want to do that, there's some additional expenses. So we represented that as an allowance. In the event that that work is not performed, that cost would be returned back to the district.
Is that the $16,000?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yep,
thank you. Thanks for advocating for us, too. We appreciate it.
absolutely.
Utilities are always expensive.
Yep. Yep. No, this one came in luckily. I mean, this was kind of where Sean and I anticipated it, and it came in a little under, so we were pleased. And so with that being said, this is PCO number 12 for the main Dunstable Elementary School. It is in the value of $165,665.29.
So I'll need a motion to approve PCO number 12 for the Maine Dunstable Elementary School for, what's the title again? Transformer and elevator replacement in an amount not to exceed $165,665.29.
I'll make the motion.
Oh,
Sorry.
You had a question for, or,
no, go ahead.
all right.
Alderman Sullivan can have
made the
it.
motion. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. That is all I have.
The two, that EEI,
I can speak to those.
you want to speak to those? Okay.
Okay, first, Matt Smith has pneumonia, so he's not here tonight for that reason. Actually, he's been down and out for about a week and a half. So I'll do my best to describe what he's proposing here. So PCCO number 7 for EEI has to do with the refurbishment of the 2 kilns in each school. They gave this number to us quite some time ago, went through the PCO process, and the number has stayed the same, $11,000 for each of the 2 schools. How much? 11,000 for Main D and 11,000 for Birch Hill.
Okay, then I'll need a motion to approve PCCOs, number 7 for both Birch Hill and 7 for Maine Dunstable for the kiln work and $11,000 each.
All right, I'll make that one.
Ms. Raymond made the motion. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. John?
Okay, the second PCCO, Matt asked us to hold on that until next month. When it came in, I questioned a number of the numbers, and he and I have not had a chance to get together and review them. So PCCO is off the books till March meeting.
Okay. John?
Okay, so next would be the approvals of 3 quotes. It says Brian McCarthy Middle School, but there's a mistake. These are for Maine Dunstable Elementary. So we had a FF&E budget for the total project. I told each of the 2 principals about the amount that they had. Birch Hill had already purchased their furniture, and Amanda just came in with these requests. So she's buying them from 3 different places. There's a quote in your package from Amazon for $788.37. A quote from Hertz for $10,343.71. And from School Specialty for $7,449.50.
So I'll need a motion to approve the Amazon quote for Maine Dunstable Middle School in the amount of $788.37.
So moved?
So moved. Okay. Any questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
I do have a question, I'm sorry. What's the lead time on the furniture these days? I remember there was a time during the middle school project when it was months. Is it better now?
I expect they should get all this furniture by the end of the school year.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. It's much, much better now than it was. I'll need a motion to approve the Hertz quote for Maine Dunstable School in the amount of $10,343.71.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Prin. Any questions? Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Now need a motion to approve the school security quote for Maine Dunstable in the amount of $7,449.50.
I will spend all the money tonight.
All right. That's because you're coming from Concord.
Right.
Ms. Raymond made the motion. Any questions? Alderman Sullivan?
Thank you. On the, I'm just looking at the school specialty quote. Sean, do you know, so we got quoted for quantity 50 and quantity 25. Do you know where the price breaks come in? I didn't know if something like this might be used at other schools, perhaps. You know, does it make sense to look at all of our properties and see if, you know, we can get a price break on these and where that would be?
I'm not sure I understand. I mean, for school special, we have 50 and 25. So
you ordered, there's a quote here for 50 of the classroom select chairs at a price of $69.36 each. I mean, you know, they're saying we're getting a discount off the list price, which is good. I just didn't know if we ordered 75, would that go down? I mean, are these chairs that we're gonna need somewhere else? I mean, thoughts on that?
The only problem with that is that we can't under the bond for this project, buy something for something that's outside of the school.
Oh, yeah.
So he could get a price break, but he'd have to pay for it out of his deferred maintenance.
I see. Okay.
Any
never
other
mind.
questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Sean?
So we have invoices for tonight, 2 invoices from Energy Efficient, Inc. For work at Main D Birch Hill totaling $111,433.18. We have 1 invoice from E&E Security for work at Main Dunstable totaling $485. 2 invoices from Harriman for work at Birch Hill and Main Dunstable totaling $10,124.13. 2 invoices from Harvey, again for Birch Hill, Main Dunstable, totaling $209,896.53. 4 invoices from Hertz, that's for furniture, for Brian McCarthy, totaling $12,421.42. 1 invoice from H.L. Turner Group for their design work, Birch Hill, Main Dunstable. Well, I'm sorry, that's the commissioning agent, totaling $11,382. 1 invoice from Page Street Leasing for storage unit at Birch Hill, $105. 1 invoice from Pro AV Systems, $744 for work at Main Dunstable. And 1 invoice from Sure Hands. This was the special education swing type thing we approved earlier, $7,695.41. By project, those total $20,116.83. It's for McCarthy. For Penachuk, nothing. For Birch Hill, Main Dunstable, $344,169.84. And those invoices total $364,286.67.
So I'll need a motion to approve paying the invoices for the middle school project, the amount of $20,116.83. Birch Hill, Main Dunstable invoices in the amount of $344,169.84. Total invoices to be paid this month, $364,286.67. Someone like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Alderman Sullivan made the motion to approve. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. It's the first time we've had a monthly total that didn't have a 1 on or 2 on the front of it. Comments by committee members? Nothing? Okay, we don't need a non-public. Someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Alderman Sullivan made the motion to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned at 7:26 PM.